So how often do you guys practice?
Once a month, if
Once a
so.
month? Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of missed out. We started a band probably a couple years ago
Okay.
with the drummer, and you've been with us for like a year now, right?
About a year.
Um, just found people off of Band Mix,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
like Facebook for
Sure.
musicians,
Yeah.
and that was really cool. And he's been on a bunch of other punk bands, and he actually moved down to Louisville with his girlfriend, but
Okay.
we still make it work,
Yeah.
and are starting to gig in here. But we actually kind of missed out on like getting gigs in the winter.
Okay.
Because there's only like so much you can post on Instagram,
Sure.
right? And
Yeah.
so only so much content you can create,
Right.
only so many songs you can record.
Yeah.
So I missed out on trying to get more media stuff posted in the winter, so we didn't get many gigs. But
Yeah.
now we're kind of lining them up and trying to blast on social media,
Sure.
just getting stuff and
Yeah.
trying to promote it as much as
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Well, I thought we'll get to that part here in a second because you guys, just as I've checked your profile, you're growing your Instagram
Thank you. Yeah.
following. But
Yeah.
yeah.
A little
So
aggressively too, just trying to follow people back and find the
oh,
local people in the scene and everything.
yeah,
So
that's a lot of work.
yeah,
It is a lot of work.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, so Brandon, you play guitar. Do you play anything else?
I play drums.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, I
Which
like
one's
recording.
which one's your first instrument?
I think my love of drums grew through playing trumpet in jazz band, and then only wanting to play drums and
Yeah.
stuff. So
Okay.
yeah, I think that originally, and then I played bass guitar in jazz band, and then
Okay.
ended up going to guitar at home and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
but I think I love playing guitar as like my main instrument,
Okay.
but my love for music comes from drums and
Drums. Yeah.
everything.
That's kind of the Jack White approach, I think.
Okay.
Jack White started out on drums.
Right.
I don't
Right.
think he plays them very often now, but you see him mostly playing guitar. But I think he was a drummer first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Kayla, what about for you? What all instruments do you play?
Oh Lord. I started on piano when I was 6.
Okay.
And then I did flute in 5th grade. I played that all throughout college.
Okay.
I also play guitar and bass and drums and
Nice.
saxophone. I did marching band. I did saxophones. I'm a music teacher, so
Yeah.
I play a ton of instruments.
Okay. Where do you teach at?
I teach at Westlake Elementary. That's in Wayne Township.
Okay.
So on the south side.
Yeah.
South side.
Yeah. South side.
What's your like main instrument nowadays?
I don't know.
Play a lot of keys and
Because
other
I've been
bands,
playing
too.
drums like all.
Yeah.
I love the drums.
So how much for each of you? How much were you self-taught, and then how much were like actual lessons and learning the instrument?
Well, your mom has a background in music, right?
Yeah, my mom's she plays in church. She's always been a church pianist.
Okay.
So she got me in lessons. Guitar and ukulele though, that was like I really wanted to learn. There was like a ukulele craze in like 2000. Whenever 21 Pilots became a thing, like
Okay.
everyone wanted to play the ukulele.
Okay.
And I kind of taught myself the string instruments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But flute and piano were like lessons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about for you, Brandon?
Same, yeah. I
Yeah.
had a couple guitar lessons,
Yeah.
kind of developing like the basics and
Yeah.
everything, but I never learned the scales or anything. So a
Yeah.
lot of that is self-taught chords, and
Yeah.
for sure, I think you can tell.
No, yeah. Well, and I think like after college too, I feel like it got a lot easier to learn music like theory, at least like for guitar for
Mhm.
me. Like I really started to experiment with all the instruments kind of after I wasn't like in the box.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because being classically trained is like a blessing, but it's also like it cuts you off from like experimenting.
Yeah.
And when you experiment, you kind of like expand and you grow.
Yeah. Okay. Where'd you go to college?
I went to PFW, so Fort
Okay.
Wayne, yeah.
Okay. So where are you both originally from? And
Chicago.
Yeah.
oh,
Well, no. Yeah, no, because they'll come after me. I am from Hazel Crest, Illinois, which is 30 minutes south of Chicago.
yeah.
So not Chicago, but
Right.
pretty close.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. I'm like from Philadelphia, but I'm actually from South Jersey, like
Okay.
30 minutes out of Philly.
Okay.
Yeah. And I came here for same thing. Went to school, but Purdue and Indianapolis for Indy Car. Basically, long story short.
Okay.
Yeah.
For
I
Indy Car.
Yeah. I
Seriously.
did that for a couple years, just getting my feet wet, and then ended up at a different job at doing transmissions for diesel
Okay.
stuff, Cummins and everything. Yeah, yeah.
So are you going crazy with the month of May right now?
It's pretty cool. It's nice to be a spectator though,
Yeah.
because working it, those guys work the whole month
Oh,
straight through.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, just to rebuild the car if it crashes or something.
Oh.
Herta just had a big wreck and
Yesterday, and McLaughlin had a big one today
did he?
too. In turn two, yeah, nailed it hard. It actually took a chunk out of the track.
Wow.
They had to, of course, they stopped to clean it up anyway, but they had to go out and pave part of the track or fill that in. That was crazy. Wow.
I was actually at practice on Friday because our work paid for tickets.
Okay,
and we were able
nice.
to go. But yeah, the second we got there was a crash as well into turn 4, and I saw something in like comments on Instagram that was just like maybe with the hybrid being different on the
That's
ovals.
what, I don't know if it was Connor Daly. They had, we digress here, but they were talking to one of the drivers, and they said with the hybrid system on there that all the settings are totally changed this year.
Yeah.
Especially on the super speedways.
Yeah.
Maybe a little different on the road courses, but yeah. So yeah, I'm excited. I love the month of May. So
Cool.
so you're from actually then you're from the Jersey side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, South Jersey. Not as like North Jersey as Bruce Springsteen.
Right.
He was like Arbery Park or something.
Yeah.
And I was a little more south of that, of like Wildwood or Long Beach Island is kind of where I hail from. So yeah, I'll represent like Pine Barrens and South Jersey, but North Jersey's a different world for sure. I stay out of that area.
Yeah. Okay. So how long have you both been in Indy? Because you're an Indy-based band now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm almost like 9 or 10 years.
Oh,
now.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. But
Nice.
I think maybe like 4.
Okay.
Yeah. I transferred halfway through. So,
Mhm.
yeah. I'm kind of struggling with the indie based right now.
Are ya?
I'm fighting the Indiana right now.
Are you?
It's growing on me though,
It's yeah.
every day. And the sun's out.
And the sun's out. It helps.
Yeah.
Everything's better when the sun's out.
And the sunsets here, I think, are just really beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. I
Yeah.
agree with that. So talk to me for each of you about, we'll start with you, Brandon, just your early musical influences, kind of when you think back and said, and this is what got my ear and got me going.
Yeah. Definitely like the early 90s stuff. There's only so many channels on Sirius XM. And I remember early on seeing a song called Lithium on Lithium. So I was like, who's that by? That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I became a huge fan of Nirvana.
Yeah.
And then even like circling back to today, I still love In Utero and Incesticide, like all their B-side stuff I still love.
Yeah.
Alice in Chains for sure. Early, it's tough to tell, just like those basic stuff.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I really love Chris Cornell and Jeff Buckley, especially of guys that could like really, really sing that came out of that era.
Yeah.
Definitely like underrated.
Yeah.
But what's your like early influence?
Yeah. What's yours? Yeah.
I would say it's like totally opposite. 'Cause like I feel like I grew up with my parents listening to like a lot of R&B and soul and hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of gospel music. Gospel music is like huge in our family.
Sure.
So I think that kind of influences. I like music that's very like I guess like when the chords are all over the place, kind of really crazy arrangements. And then I think I'm like the most cringiest with like I was a One Direction fan. I was like I loved boy bands. I did.
love Jonas Brothers.
I
at one
love
point.
it.
It all happens.
It
Yeah.
happens. But yeah, I kind of when I started to get into my own music taste, it kind of started to go towards like I guess not really metal bands. It's like Pierce the Veil and Black Veil Brides. Like I call it like hot topic rock music, like Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boys, boy bands.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, for girls. So I feel like that's kind of where I went. But I've always really loved classical music more than anything. I feel like orchestral music is some of the most beautiful music I think that's ever been created. And it stands the test of time. So
Very nice.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm all over the place.
You got a large palette there.
Yeah. I haven't even
Colors.
talked about Brazilian music, but I could go there too.
Yeah. Wow. So how'd you two meet?
Through band mix, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool. Facebook for musicians, basically. It's just another app. There's
Yeah.
a ton of people on those apps.
That's how the band I'm in was a derivative of band mix.
Gotcha.
The gentleman that I've been with now, played with now for 2.5 years, something like that. We connected through band mix.
Nice.
He reached out to me. I didn't quite know how that worked. I just signed up for it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you had to pay if you wanted to reach out to somebody.
Yeah.
So
Oh, you do?
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you can get messages, but to send them, I think you have to have a membership.
Mhm.
I wouldn't swear to
Do I
that.
still have a membership?
Forget what
I've
it
been
is,
paying
yeah.
them.
Maybe.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I'll have to check that.
So how long ago was it then that you met?
About a
Yeah,
year.
it was like
now,
yeah.
Okay.
A little over a year.
I think it was just when I moved here.
And it's ironic, I moved from like downtown Indy where you were,
Mhm.
and that's why we probably linked up because it was like based on location.
Sure, yeah.
And then I moved south by like 30, 40 minutes, but we still kept in touch and still
Yeah.
worked together and stuff.
Okay.
And I'll work downtown, so then I'll go over to your place afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to practice.
Yeah.
Just try
I
to
think
make it work.
I was just finishing like my college classes. They sent me here to student teach. And so that's when I was like, all right,
Yeah.
we're going to get into a band. I got a message. I was like, this is the one.
Nice.
So
Nice.
it kind of worked out perfectly,
Yeah.
unless I'm still paying
Yeah.
for that membership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make a note of that.
Yeah, check on that. Yeah, check on that. So, okay, I come up with the band name. How did that come about?
I've definitely had a lot of people like trying to make stuff work through college, and at one point we were just like 2 hours late. And I would always do the music stuff and set up, and everyone would come to my place. I'm like, what the, like where is everybody?
Yeah.
So then it just like came to itself and it stuck. I was like,
Okay.
oh, okay, well I'll have to write that down.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Thank you. And it's kind of one of those things that you have to be able to say it on a mic clearly when you're drunk, and drunk people have to be able to understand it, and then it's also got to be a little catchy. So it's like
You put some thought into it.
Yeah.
You vetted it out even. Like, okay, here's a name. Let's see, is it going to work?
It goes deeper, yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
So-
Were there other names that you considered? Do you even remember? It's always
I-
funny sometimes to hear names that were maybe on the board but didn't make the cut.
Yeah. I liked Echo Dreams at one point, but yeah, I guess since you guys all came in after I had a little bit of the idea of it, that was like and actually ironically paying for band mix, like it kind of makes you get your stuff together and get ready before you start kind of launching your portfolio out to other people, because then they'll just say, yeah, he doesn't have much stuff, or he doesn't have anything together, so why would I kind of work with you? So.
I didn't care. I was like, hey, I got a message.
It's 10
I'm
minutes
going.
away,
You got
okay.
a message from me. Had you gotten other messages?
Not that I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe if I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I had gotten a few, but it was just about, hey, just want to get together and play, which for me I was already doing that with some guys, but I wasn't in a band. And when Jerry, the guy I play with, he reached out, he was wanting to form a band. It's like, okay, now we're, although I joined band mix and didn't really know what I had joined. So, yeah. So right now, are you a 3-piece, 4-piece, 2-piece, all the above?
3-piece right now.
3-piece right now?
Yeah. Our drummer, our bassist works a lot, so he just wasn't able to keep up with us.
Okay.
But we're hoping to kind of keep him going either in the fall or winter, or kind of look out for the other opportunities.
So then drums, guitar, and keys, and then whatever else needs to trade instruments and
They just dump everything on me.
Yeah.
They're like, you just play it.
Yeah.
She was coming up with a bunch of awesome second guitar parts, and that's why I love Nirvana, because they always have 2 different guitar parts layered or whatever else. So we really want to get back to that, add like a bassist or even a celloist. But I'm really dreaming if we get a cello player.
I saw that. Saw what you were looking for on band mix. Yeah, you've got an eclectic assortment of instruments potentially on the horizon.
Yeah. I played upright bass, so it's kind of like cello. Was never really good at it, but I built the calluses and just like the sound. Really love fretless bass as well. So that's where it kind of comes from. But I had like the $150 little cello that you can get off of Amazon, and was playing that and just recorded it a couple times. Of course, with like a tuner right there, so I know I'm in the right. And then pause, hit the next chord, and make sure. So pretty little DIY. But I always love cello in the background of recordings, and add another layer with the bass and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. So if anyone plays cello or knows a cello player in the area, we're very interested.
Hit you up. Yeah. Okay. All right. So when did you know, for the two of you anyway, that it was going to work?
Oh, first practice.
Seriously?
First practice. She just ran right in the door. She didn't even say hi. She just set up a saxophone and a flute, and no, but it was cool.
I think I was playing bass the first time, actually. Yeah. We went through a lot of... This was before we had a bass player.
Right.
I think the first one.
So it was just you two initially? I mean, you reached out?
The drummer.
And the drummer,
Me and drummer. We were actually going to do like a White Stripes kind of thing. And then, the bassist and Kayla ended up reaching out to us. So we kind of changed gears. But I think we're back to that kind of indie rock
Yeah.
roots thing. So it's nice to kind of come full circle and do stuff like stripped down
Oh,
as
really?
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like a whole other set with like Lupin. She does a whole other set as like the Kayla Weddington project.
Okay.
And then we do a lot of sets together, whether it's like busking on the streets acoustic or just looking for coffee shops to do acoustic. So got a lot of different varieties in
Yeah.
the work.
We just
yeah.
want to play.
Yeah.
We're-
Good for you.
yeah.
I love that energy because it takes energy
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not a lot of artists like really sell themselves, and I definitely am self-conscious, and you just got to push through that and
Yeah.
get out and just promote yourself. So
That's one thing. So do you sing, Kayla?
I sing.
Yeah. Or do you sing any lead? Are you singing backup or?
In Late to Everything, I really kind of sing backup, I guess.
Yeah.
some backup.
Yeah. So you're taking most of the vocals in, lead vocals. Yeah.
Yeah.
So was that something you had to push through, Brandon, where you were like, man, I'm a guitar player or drummer. I don't know if I want to sing. Or did you know right from the get go, I want to sing. I'm going to be the guy.
I think originally I loved Paramore because they had like some male vocals in the background. So I always thought of myself like I could maybe get a little better at my range and my pitch and everything and just work on being a backing vocalist. And worked with other like front lead singers, guys and girls, and it just ended up not working out. And then I was like, you know what? It's tough to restart your material over and over again once people come and go.
Yeah.
So I was like, you kind of got to be the lead singer of your own kind of destiny
sense.
in a
Yeah.
way. So kind of developed, and it's kind of like there's a lot of great songwriters that aren't great singers. Like I love Foo Fighters and Everclear for that reason.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people use auto-tune and stuff. So it's like, I don't have to be a great singer.
Right,
I just gotta put myself in it and go.
Yeah.
So I think that's where that kind of came from. But it's nice to be able to split some vocal work as well and rely on someone who's got your back.
Yeah. Good deal. What's and you kind of touched on this. What's the genre that you'd say you fit into, if you fit into one?
Yeah, I think like just alternative indie rock.
Yeah.
I really love Elliott Smith. The last like year, I just keep re-listening to him.
Yeah.
So I think like him as a full band. What was his actual band? Heat Miser,
Okay.
as well was his other band before he went solo and did his whole thing.
Okay.
So I think we're kind of close to Heat Miser with more keys and
Okay.
just kind of indie rock.
I didn't realize he was in a band. Of course, most probably are. I didn't realize he was in a band prior to becoming Elliott Smith. So,
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Yeah. I love his material, man. He has all kinds of variety and stuff. So yeah, definitely. I'll send you a link for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a hidden gem that he still has had a band beforehand.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
I've also not listened to this. I'm like,
Send
what
her
is
the
it
link,
called?
too.
Yeah, send me the
Will
link
do.
as well.
Going in the group chat.
Yeah, you mentioned Jeff Buckley, and I've listened to some of the stuff you had on SoundCloud, and I definitely got the connection there. Not that you're necessarily trying to emulate him, but it reminded me of Jeff Buckley.
Thank you.
And yeah, what a talent that guy was.
Thank you. I would love to be a carbon copy if I could.
Yeah,
But
yeah. You know, it's so interesting. And again, we digress a little bit. I was thinking about it because I kind of got back on a Jeff Buckley kick.
Nice.
You know, he had one album that came out while he was alive, and
Yeah.
then all this stuff's come out, and I've lost track of what's come out since he's passed. Of course, just great material. But I think he was in the 27 club, man. I think he was only 27 when he passed away.
Super young.
Yeah.
Super young.
Yeah.
So what a lost talent, though.
I think he was like a month or two out. He was 26.
Was he
And
26?
he was
Okay.
almost, and I always think about that. If he was 27, it would have been this huge
Yeah.
deal.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So maybe he would be even more famous.
Yeah. And I think his dad passed away early too.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Buckley, I think. So yeah. So what's the vision for the band then? If that's kind of a wide question, but what would you say the vision for the band is?
It's a vision.
What's the
Probably
vision?
get up to Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Because we both love Chicago.
Okay.
Great city.
Yeah. So I'd love to just spend like 2-3 days up there and just have a couple gigs and go home. That's kind of I don't think we're going to be the biggest rock band in the world, you know?
Yeah, we just want to
So-
play, really.
Just want to
Like,
play. It's
and we just
good.
want people to enjoy it,
Yeah.
you know?
Get some festivals going.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
It's a great way to get plugged in as festivals, I think. You go to music festival and I'm the guy that gets there early because I want to see all the bands. In fact, I usually prefer the bands that are up front. You know, you kind of maybe know what you're going to get, and the headliners are great, but it's discovering those people up front that you never heard, and you go, I was, we go to Bourbon and Beyond every year down in Louisville. Don't know if you know that festival or not. It started out as a 2-day festival. Now it's a 4-day festival. And I went back and looked, and on the undercard, maybe the second year, Billy Strings was way down on the list, and he was there. And of course, now he would headline it, and maybe will someday. But like Fish is headlining this year. I'm trying to think of who else. It escapes me. I mean, it's just 4 days of music, full music, 2 stages going. It's awesome. So you should check that out. It's and of course it's not very far. It's a couple hour drive down there. So
Yeah.
so we talked about your music a little bit. You've got some on SoundCloud. Do you have it out on any other platforms?
I think we're trying to get to Spotify.
Okay.
SoundCloud has a bunch of ads all of a sudden. I haven't used it in like 6 months, and I kind of did an update. So I'm kind of trying to back off SoundCloud, get something more like Spotify that lets you actually listen to something straight through.
Yeah.
But right now, I think I took down our SoundCloud. We have a cassette going. Can I go plug that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
That's the other goal of just trying to get to some local gigs.
Yeah.
Sell cassettes.
Yeah.
Candles. Basically, we have cheap little merch.
Yeah, I love that.
It's not cheap.
Yeah. But the goal is to get like other actual machines that, like a crick cut that can cut stuff out properly, laminate or like get some other stuff. So I got kind of just like relate to everything. What was on the SoundCloud is now into the cassette.
Okay.
And
I have not seen this before.
yeah, I've just
Oh,
been putting this
hot off the
together.
Oh, and I love the.
Yeah, here.
Yeah, I love that.
I think it's got like the first A-side did the test run on.
Okay. So did you have this done, or are you doing this with something at your house, or?
I just did that on Microsoft Word, and yeah. So this is originally, it's Charlie McEasy has a book called The Boy, the Mole, and the Horse.
Okay.
It could be, it's the mole, it's the boy, the horse, the mole, and the fox.
Okay.
Should talk into the mic too, sorry. And it's actually like a really nice children's book about depression, oddly enough, of just kind of like weathering the storm.
Okay.
And really related. So I was like, and the whole album is really soft and is kind of personal to me. So I was like, you know what, that really represents the album as well, of just kind of weathering the storm and getting through stuff. So yeah.
So do you have these out for production yet, or is this kind of like the early test run?
This is the test run.
Is it?
This is like 1 of 10. I will need this back if you don't mind. But I'll definitely get you another copy and send it your way.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's really hard to get like actual cassettes in bulk, and especially like different colored cassettes.
Yeah.
So if you find some as well, throw them my way.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll selfishly plug that. Real
Yeah, of course. Yeah, please. Yeah, I talked to Joshua Powell. I think he and I were talking, and he was making cassettes.
Nice.
And he had a machine that maybe he was doing like 3 or 4 at a time. I don't recall now, but so did you actually produce the or make that, or did you send that off and someone made it for you as far as the actual getting it on the tape?
Yeah, I made everything.
Did you?
So I have just a little tape maker,
Yeah,
little
okay.
cassette deck thing. Yeah, and just
That sounds like probably what he had then, something like that.
yeah. But I think I bought the blank cassettes from like Fidelity or something.
Okay.
They have some cool stuff on Amazon and their own website.
Okay.
So I like them over like RCA has some other cassettes as well, but they're like the real basic ones.
Yeah.
Fidelity has some gold ones and stuff too that you can get creative with. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. So tell me about how many songs are on that?
That's a great point. I was thinking I didn't even say the song. So the A-side is like the EP that was on SoundCloud, plus another one that we added on as a full band and recorded. Because the first 4 songs are just like what I recorded to get everyone into the band.
Okay.
And then the whole rest of the side of the album is all songs we recorded together.
Okay.
And I have a little studio down in Franklin. That's kind of why I moved down there, get a little house with a little drum room and stuff. Yeah. But then at the end, there's a No Doubt cover and a Chris Cornell cover. So you'll have to buy the cassette in order to hear the covers.
Yeah. Okay. So the rest of it's all original stuff then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are like 8 originals on that.
So so the originals that are on there, does that represent all of your original catalog, or how many songs do you feel like you have in your original catalog?
Actually, we're like sandbagging a little bit. I think we have like up to 12 songs now, and another 3. You got another one coming, and yeah.
Every week I feel like we've got another song.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? If you're practicing once a month, are you sending files back and forth?
Yeah, for sure.
We got the big Google Drive.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you put it up in the cloud, and you can go pull it down, and
Yep.
Wow.
A shared page of lyrics too. We're trying to work on that, and just so everything's in front of us, and we can kind of pick the good stuff out of the bad.
Especially everyone's so busy, and it's just like Who can rehearse like 2 times a week?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We sent a link to our drummer of like, hey, new song, and he like had it ready for
He
the last
he
practice.
just does it.
We were like,
yeah.
nice, man.
Yeah. Very nice.
It's really nice to work with people like that,
Yeah.
where you can just get together and
Right.
it just flows.
So tell me about that process. So you sit down, you pick out a riff. So do you put a riff up there, or do you feel like it's a more fully baked song, either of you, or is it the riff and then someone else takes off with it, or how does that work?
Guess
Well, I feel like when I first joined, like I was like, okay, what do you want me to do, boss?
Yeah.
And he's like, just do whatever,
Yeah.
And so like that's kind of been really nice. I'll just go through the set maybe twice a week, and I'll just play keys over it or add synth. And then when we're together, I'll just be like, does this sound good? And it's usually like, sounds good.
Yeah.
So,
like, is there another setting? Oh, that one.
yeah.
That one sounds good.
Got to get the right
Cool.
presets. But other than that, it's like we all have a lot of free will kind of with the parts. But usually Brandon comes up with most of the songs.
A lot of fully finished stuff. Like the new song you've been working on is like a
Yeah.
full part to where someone just has to play along with it.
Okay.
So yeah. And you had vocals too.
I'm usually the song's done, like the bass line, the keys, the vocal. Like
So you're more fully baked than,
yeah.
Okay.
He's usually got like the lyrics and the guitar part, and then he's like, "All right, guys,
Yeah.
I'm like, good luck.
good luck."
So so you go up and pull that down, and what are you dropping that into? What's your software? What's your DAW? What are you using?
I use FL Studio, but I actually really like using Shotcut, which is a form of Photoshop for doing more video and stuff.
Okay.
So I couldn't afford Photoshop, so I had to do the pirated, or not the pirated, the free software download version.
Incriminating yourself.
I know, right? Free, not pirated. Not pirated. But that's really nice. I like the last song that we threw the drummer, literally just like had a guitar part. Was like, okay, because I have 2 rooms. I have like a control room for like the mixing side of it, and then I have like a drum room that's isolated and separated. Because I don't have any kids at home, so I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And just the wires passed through. So then I was like, okay, I did this guitar part. I was just messing around, and then ran into the drums, recorded that on my phone, and then put that all in Shotcut and video edited it, and just kind of sent it out. Instead of doing like a finally finished version of FL Studio in the DAW, I just kind of do it in the video editor at first, and then we'll get to the DAW once the drummers with us record it through the DAW.
It sounds like a lot of technical know-how. There was a time I felt like I was up on that. That stuff sounds so foreign to me now. That sounds like a lot of work. It probably is not that difficult for you to know what to do and all that, but still, it sounds like a lot.
Yeah, it's been some long hours, definitely
Oh.
like some late nights where
Yeah.
you're just sitting there editing. And it just gets a little tedious. But I think that's where I came from originally, is like wanting to do the production side of music.
Okay.
And my fascination with Indy Car was more electronics. So I really like the wiring side of doing pedal boards and laying out wires for, there's like different extensions you can do for your interface that are, oh my gosh, it's not like a hard wire. It's like a fiber optic cable that you can send out. So there's just so much tech, whether it's MIDI or analog or anything analog to digital. It just gets so complex so quickly to where I'm like, I really like that stuff. But yeah.
So you said you recorded the drums into your phone. Like, how did you do that?
I think audio just compresses so well.
So you're just
Regular video.
recording it
Yeah.
right into like the memo thing or whatever?
I'm shocked how good it does. Yeah. Just doing my regular video on my phone, the audio comes out okay enough to, I messed up my audio one time with like my sampling rate, but our drummer was recording himself and that's what we actually ended up using for like the final cut. I was like, good enough. Add some compression to it.
No, really. Though.
Cool. Cool. So you're active, you're writing all the time then?
Mhm.
I think so.
Yeah.
I
Cool.
think that's like the fun part.
It
of
is.
comes from
Yeah.
The
creation.
writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like with my job, I'm always with guitar, with
Yeah.
the piano. Just like in between classes, even I'll be like, between kindergarten and first grade.
Ooh, record that.
Just
Right
get a
on.
little,
Yeah.
no, really.
All right. Have you written anything that's you find difficult to play and sing?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just a lot of practice.
Yeah.
And like getting prepared too, knowing like what pedal to hit when.
Yeah.
A lot of it's like if you take a solo and you have a vocal part ready to jump right into the vocals after you're done your solo, and you do the pedals correctly,
Yeah.
it comes out pretty okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's the hard part, doing the whole like production
Yeah.
as well as singing and playing. Yeah. Because you can't bore people either. You can't just take an hour from your solo and then take 10 minutes in between to go back to singing. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
But what have we been playing? I've been doing Comforting Lie by No Doubt. That's really hard because it's a female singer.
Sure.
And it's Gwen Stefani, which is even harder.
Yeah.
So that's been interesting. That fell off the set list for the upcoming gig because I was like, I'm not too sure I'm gonna last through that one.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll sing it.
Maybe you'll sing it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I think like the same thing like tech, which I'm a very analog person. Like with the synth, I have a very baseline synthesizer, but even like getting through the presets, I'm like, oh wait.
Yeah.
I gotta get to this preset. For me, that's like the hardest part, kind of, and just like when we're all together and we're playing, just trying not to jazz it up. I'm a very like play by ear, so sometimes it's like I have to write the part out, so I play it the same each time. Otherwise, it's like, hey, we could be a jam band, but for the show, it'd be nice to like stick to the same thing, so it's not. Because then I'll lose it. You know? And I think that's for me has been a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah. Okay.
I think of the Beatles a lot and all of that. It's like layered with melodies and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we're trying to fall into is like some redundant stuff to get stuck in your head. But also a good melody to be on top of it.
Very good melody.
Yeah.
Can you read music?
I cannot.
No.
At one point, I read for trumpet when I was playing in
way
jazz
back
band.
when. Yeah.
I read bass clef for playing bass in jazz band, but that fell apart really quickly. So I'm sure you can. You know your theory pretty well.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, what is the chord progression?
Yeah.
And so that's fun.
Yeah. Cool. Let's talk about the playing live because it sounds like that's really what you're built for. I mean, you certainly have to have the catalog, but you're built to play live. Want to play live. Most musicians, that's the thing. It's great to write the songs. That's a lot of fun, but it's all about the energy of playing live. Yeah. So what? How long have you guys? So you've been together a couple years, you said? You two?
Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you been playing out live? You practice for a little bit and.
Crazy enough, this will be our first gig, May 31st. Yeah. But we've been doing so much more on Instagram and just posting.
Yeah.
It feels like we've been playing live as a band for now like 6 months. Like every practice felt like a gig, how we were setting up and preparing, doing the full set all the way through.
Yeah. Okay. So some of the videos I saw that you did down in Fountain Square look like, So would you just go set up and although you're not, I mean, you're just taking your guitar and you maybe got your flute or are you setting up your phone or someone recording that?
Yeah, setting up phone and recording it so you can kind of get through different angles, different shots.
But you're doing that. It's just the two of you and you're setting your phone up to do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's been good. I forgot we've been doing a bunch of open mics.
I was gonna say
been
we've been hitting up the open mics.
Yeah. So it's easier to go do the busking out in public when you've already done 10, 20 open mics. Yeah, that's been helpful.
Yeah. So I don't even know how you really go about doing that. Do you have to have permission to busk like in Fountain Square or you just do it?
Yeah, there's like busking laws in like bigger cities like Chicago. I know you have to have like a permit or something, but I feel like, should I be saying this?
Yeah, go for it.
I feel like in Indiana it's kind of fine like to just go out and busk. I don't think they're bugging you about it.
I was looking up laws of like hanging posters and stuff, and it has to be X amount of size. You have to pay a $300 fee. No one's paying that just to hang up a poster on a pole.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like those minor offenses in Fountain Square. I think cops have other issues.
Well, I would think in Fountain Square of all places, they're probably as forgiving as anybody on the music scene.
Yeah.
They probably almost encourage it too.
Right.
So, yeah.
Which is amazing, that little area. I'm finding new venues every day. There's like a White Rabbit Cabernet, has a bunch of shows. There's Hoosier Dome is all ages. So it's not just the Hi-Fi or Square Cat. There's a bunch of small little shops that do it too.
Are they all doing open mics too?
I'm not sure.
'Cause you did I think I saw one of the
Just
videos
Square
you did
Cat.
one at Square Cat.
Yeah. But I think
Those guys
Hi-Fi
are
is...
great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
those
the best venue in Indy, I think.
It really is.
Were you ever in there when it was half the size?
No.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's beautiful. And it was cool before, but they had bands in there before, and I say half it was probably a third the size of it is what it is now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Glad they grew. Do you think they grew more for selling music or probably having the stage and just selling food and everything?
I
Having
think it
more of
was
a,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. Because they ended up, they'll do stuff out in the alley. I mean, they'll do different things. They did the back alley ballyhoo for a while. They did the Virginia Avenue Music Fest for a little bit. That was awesome. In the first couple of years they did, or first couple of years I went to, they actually played in the small spot, and it was cool. It was intimate. You were right there with the folks on the stage. But yeah, those guys have done such a great job of promoting music down there, and then obviously having the venue to host it too. So how many are they doing regular open mics there?
I think it's every month now.
It's
Yeah.
the first Monday of every month. Yeah.
So is it? Are both of you? Because I think I saw the one video. It looked like you were playing almost like a 335 or something, the blue one.
Yeah. I really like the Gretsch
Yeah, it was
double
okay.
cutaways.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. That I don't know if you were by yourself or okay.
Yeah.
It was.
So you just it's just
Busy
whatever.
schedule. Busy schedule.
I had to work.
And you've done other open mics just by
Yeah.
yourself.
I
'Cause
think
we're so
sometimes
far
it's
apart.
both of us, and sometimes it's just like one of us, and we're just like, just say the band name at the end.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just got to make it work. You know.
Mhm.
Yeah. How long do you get to play? I'm sure they give you a set time or how many songs you can do.
2 or 3 songs. I think Square Cat was 2 songs, so that's pretty nice. And they actually ask you to do every other month if you end up playing,
Okay.
because they seem to have like a big amount of people that are interested and that go a lot. So, yeah.
It just it depends. Like there are some where you just get up there and they're like, just keep going,
Keep going.
keep
Huh?
going.
Yeah. Where else around town are the open mics happening?
Shelby Street Tavern has a really nice one on Fridays.
Okay.
It's Free Spirit Indie and Books and Brews. Books and Brews is a
Okay.
really good one.
Which location for Books and Brews?
Is it Carmel?
Mothership, 96th Street.
I'm not sure where that is.
I think it's in Fishers.
Oh,
Fishers.
Fishers, yeah. Not the Brownsburg
It's actually
one.
pretty close to you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. The one in Fishers off of 96th Street, just south of. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like behind a Lowe's or something.
Yeah. I know right what you're talking about. Okay.
That place is awesome. That's a huge stage. That's like as big of a stage as Square Cat, you know?
Yeah. I went to an open mic. I went to watch. This is before COVID hit, and I didn't know what COVID had done to them. Because I think they closed the location. Maybe I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm glad to know that one's still open. That's good to know.
Yeah.
So
And the other one's in Brownsburg or something, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I've been to there before too. That's pretty good.
And that's just a really great way to meet so many, like, especially like younger musicians too. Like a lot of times you just feel like there are some open mics where the crowd is a lot older and you get a little discouraged. At least I did. Like coming from Chicago, I was like, is there a scene here for us? But there is. And
from the standpoint of just not a lot of energy for it.
I guess I feel like there's a lot of like folksy country blues, bluegrass, which is like fantastic, you know. But sometimes the variety feels like a little stiff, right? So when I started going out to different open mics and to see that plus a lot of other genres too, I was like, oh, this is like a really well-rounded area for musicians. Like there's pretty much everything here.
I felt the same about Irvington has a big theater and they do it like inside and outside. Same thing. It kind of seems like a lot of bluegrass country stuff.
Really talented guitarists
A lot of
here,
great
like
bluegrass
really
pickers,
talented.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
I
It's such
agree.
a positive venue too. No matter where you're at an open mic, it feels like people it's their first time either trying a material or could be someone's first time really playing in front of someone. So that's a cool part. Everyone's like really positive.
Yeah.
So as far as prior band experience, did you bring much prior band? Either one of you bring a lot? Like, hey, I was in a gigging band for a while, or is this kind of the first? This is the maiden voyage from that standpoint, or?
I think the first voyage, yeah.
I was like
Good way of saying it.
I was in like a gospel band in college, but it was for like a couple months.
Yeah.
Which we like did play a show, but for me, like band has always been like band.
Yeah.
You know, like band.
Yeah.
So I thought this was like so cool to like be, and I still think it is, like to be in a band. Like this is my first band experience that I've been waiting for.
Okay.
So it's really exciting.
Yeah.
Same. I'm seeing a bunch of bands in IU Bloomington, like, is a huge college scene, and there's a bunch of people playing in basements and frat dorms or wherever out there, and I'm like, man, I really missed out, especially as a drummer, legging all that gear down in someone's basement just for beer to get spilled on it and whatever. Like, dang, what a party, you know? But I'm like, wow, there's so many bands. Not only Bloomington, Purdue, Fort Wayne, like Muncie has a ton of bands. Evansville has like this hardcore scene kind of going on Instagram. So there's a ton of metal in Evansville. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
You would be shocked, right?
Yeah.
But I guess coming across the river from Louisville, so maybe they kind of joint partners there. Our drummer's down in Louisville, so we're trying to get down to him. There's like a couple cool bars, like the Portal, and I'm missing one. I want to plug it, but I'm like, oh, but there's so many cool bars down in Louisville that like keep a scene going.
Yeah.
So it's nice that like the Bluebird is a big one down in Bloomington.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Square Cat does a lot too, but like small stuff like Books and Brews and all the open mics really help the scene too.
Yeah. So are you trying to get out and do the open mics as much as possible? Is that right now filling in between the band?
So
Yeah.
it's ironic though, like it might not be the best place for you to promote yourself either, because everyone is also doing the same thing. So your audience isn't exactly like a normal audience.
Right.
And you can tell everyone to go follow you on Insta. But if you already went out there and found people in your area on Instagram, you probably already are following them, you know, if they're doing the same thing. So it's tough to like spend the time, because it's usually like a 4 or 5 hour round trip to where it's like, am I marketing myself in the best way, compared to like, now I'm thinking we spend the time busking on the street in front of like venues, even like the old National Center, where there's a ton of foot traffic that's already going there for music. Like, how do you reach an audience that's already interested in live music?
Sure.
Kind of got to just go there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's been the hard point of like where to go now to market.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I was using the open mics kind of just to like get into performing like on stage, because I hadn't done that before. So it's been like a year of that, and I feel a lot more comfortable on
Sure.
stage. So that's been super helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no replacement for playing live. And it's one thing to be in band practice. It's another thing to just be live. Where, you know, just keep honing the chops, and it gets
Been
tighter
humbled.
and you learn. Yeah.
Humbling. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Realize how hot it is up there. You're like,
Yeah. For sure. So, so favorite places to play around?
Square Cat?
That's a
yeah.
cool.
We're
little
still
stage.
hoping they'll let us come in as a full band.
Yeah.
But
I really love. There's this cafe on. Oops, I don't know where it's at.
it's a guy at 86th Street.
86th Street. It's called the
Gaia
Gaia
Cafe.
Cafe. And it's like it's a really friendly cafe. It's also like it's a botanical.
Yeah.
Botanical. They sell plants too.
Okay.
They have like piano in the back. I think like I really like those like really small intimate venues where it's just kind of like you and you're just kind of playing for people as they're like doing something. That's why I really love playing at cafes, because you're just kind of the background there.
If no one's there, the plants are listening.
The plants are listening, but it's really fun to if we could play there, just kind of to be in the community in a small business and just supporting in that way. I think that's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have you played at the open mic across the street from Square Cat at Red Lion?
Oh,
Joshua Powell's doing one there.
I'll have to do that.
Yeah.
Seems like a smaller bar
It is.
too. So
Yeah,
it's
I
always
think it's right by the front door. When you walk in, there's a little area that they set up, and it's not a real big restaurant, but I think he's been doing that now. I don't know how long, but I saw he posted something last week about the open mic there.
what is it called?
Red Lion, the grog, right across the street, literally just right across the street from Square Cat,
Oh my gosh.
right next to the Hi-Fi.
Yeah.
like British old style pub.
Oh,
Yeah,
sweet.
it's actually really
Yeah.
cool. It's
It's
always
very cool.
so packed.
It
there.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Cool. So you mentioned an upcoming show, May 31st.
Yeah.
Where's that at?
Yeah, we're supporting Licks,
Okay.
Lyxe.
Yeah.
They're a St. Louis band
Yeah.
out of Missouri. And that will be at the Hoosier Dome,
Which is where?
May 31st. It's like Fountain Square.
It's right by it's
Yeah,
right by the
yeah,
Hi-Fi. Isn't it?
It's actually,
it?
yeah. So it's
It's
a
like a
little
really
garage,
small garage.
basically, that they open up.
Okay.
Yeah. And you would completely walk past it and miss it.
Okay.
And it's kind of strange they don't really advertise, like have their
It's-
banner up or
yeah,
anything.
it's
I just was
really
in Fountain Square not long ago, and I'm down there now. I don't know how long it's been there, but I'm down there on a regular basis going to the hi-fi, and I don't.
No,
It's like an
you would miss it.
underground.
Yeah,
I did. I did miss it. Completely missed it.
But I think it's like where that circle is, like
Mm-hmm.
the literal Fountain Square circle. You end up like going the other side roads than where the hi-fi is. Like instead of the main, I think it's like Indiana Avenue or something.
Okay.
It kind of like peels off and it's just tucked out there. Yeah.
Okay.
But they have a bunch of like metal stuff and it's all ages too. Which since I went to school downtown Indy, you don't really know what to do until you're 21. There's not much to do. So that's the nice part about it, is that it could kind of be anybody.
So are you booking those, Brandon? Are you the one hustling? How do you get that?
Yeah,
How'd you get that
that's
gig?
Yeah.
all him.
Our drummer is also in I Got Worms, a nice little punk band out of Indianapolis. And they've played like the Melody Inn.
Yeah.
We were just there actually. We saw the Breaks and Mainstream.
Silkies. Oh,
Silkies.
wait, no, that was at the hi-fi.
Silkies was at the
That was
Hi-Fi.
at the
We
Hi-Fi.
saw the Silkies also open for J. Roddy Watson in the
That
in the
was really
band,
good.
previously The Business. Don't know what happened there, but
Oh, we're talking about the breaks and
yeah. But the breaks were really, I mean, we were playing pool and stuff. It's been that long of a month of just trying to like kind of circle back to it has been a lot of management.
Yeah.
You know, like playing is the easier part. I see why people just hire a manager and go on tour.
sometimes I feel bad because I really don't do a lot.
I feel bad because I'm messaging them all the time. Like,
know.
are you available this day at this time?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's really out here just sending all the emails and calling people, and we're just like, we show up when requested.
Yeah. Yeah. You do have to hustle, especially if you're doing it obviously on your own. It's a lot of hustle. Yeah.
At one point, I was just like, you know, if you actually want to do it, you can't really be shy about it.
Right.
Like, at one point, are you going to stop being shy? Like, the second you get on stage, like, when I was like, screw it. I'm just going to contact everyone, see what happens, and take as many opportunities as you can and just make stuff work, you know?
What else have you got lined up after that? Do you have anything set right now?
Same thing, Hoosier Dome again. There's this local band called Water Courses who are really cool, and the drummer sings and everything out of that. Yeah, same with the breaks. The drummer sings out of the breaks.
Okay. I'm familiar
and,
with the breaks.
and he plays in the mainstream.
Okay.
And I met him through Square Cat. He works at Square Cat and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But so those local bands are so cool. So I've been trying to check them out. And yeah.
What'd you think? I had made a note here to ask you. The guy on Instagram that had he was picking the top 5 bands in all 50 states, and he rattled off 5, there's so many that can be
totally saw
deserving,
that,
but I think you commented on it, or just what was your take on that? I mean, when you think about that.
There were definitely some bands that I recognized,
Yeah.
but there's this one band, 6 Foot Blonde,
Yeah.
and the first thing when you're seeing Instagram is like how many people are following them, and I think they came out of that local IU Bloomington scene, and they did like a full tour. So that was really cool, seeing them being like number 1 or 2 for the local. I forget who else was on there. Maybe it was I Got Worms. I would plug them because that's the other band our drummer's in. So I think they're great.
They're
They
really
got a ton of
good.
material, a lot of material about like bacon and just
Sabrina,
like that fun punk
Yeah,
stuff.
super fun
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
Yeah, I was telling Kayla before you got here, I had the Moon Goons in here. I don't know if you're familiar with the Moon Goons or
Are
not.
they talking about King Lizard and stuff? Yeah, I saw their
Yeah,
podcast
you
a
should
little
check
bit.
them out. They're a lot of fun, and they are great musicians, just great musicians. Yeah, I would put them up there too. It's so hard to pick. It could be 5 favorites. I don't know that you could pick the top 5. That would almost be impossible.
There's so many bands.
There's so many
too.
bands, but they're solid. They bring it. They really bring it.
And it's cool to see what people have on social media, on SoundCloud, on Spotify, and then go and see people live. Because back to the Silkies, like we saw them, that was their first real gig, and they opened. I think they were better than the actual
It was so good.
the actual band. So yeah, like, and
They've
they were
got
like
nothing.
they have nothing. They had shirts. That was it.
Shirts and coffee.
Yeah,
Shirts and
yeah.
coffee.
Shirts and coffee.
They were selling coffee. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was awesome. Yeah.
And where'd you see them at the Hi-Fi?
The Hi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they had the same thing, like they had 300 followers on Insta. So it really doesn't matter. You just got to go leg it, try to get gigs, and you never know who you'll be in front of that night.
Have you been upstairs to the Lo-Fi?
I haven't.
There's a lo-fi.
That sounds so cool. Like doing is it usually acoustic or do they do a variety?
No, it's a variety. I've been up there 2 or 3 times. One of the first bands I had on the podcast was the Northern Kentucky Derby.
Okay.
And I saw them up there. I started following them on Instagram, I think, but they played a show up there, and it's drummer and guitar player, but he's playing through an orange amp, and they bring it, man. It's full on, just kind of that early Black Keys rock. So it was kind of loud. Then we saw Bridget Calls Me Baby there. And then they just opened for Saint Motel at the Egyptian Room at the Murat. So
Wow.
yeah, there's some of the up and coming bands go there. Maybe they don't get to the hi-fi downstairs because it probably holds maybe 80 people if you packed it, maybe 50, I don't know. But it's a real cool, intimate. You talked about intimate. It's very intimate. So if you might check it online and see who's coming there. And sometimes they're free shows. Sometimes they're not really expensive, but definitely worth checking it out.
It's amazing they have 3 stages, and then they have like the
outdoor
backyard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how much they've grown and everything.
Yeah.
But
They've done a great job. Yeah.
That's good news because I thought it was just acoustic and stuff. So
No.
if you could get a full band in there,
It's
we'll
full
have to
band.
try it.
The stage isn't huge. River Thief was, they actually opened for
Yeah,
Bridget Calls Me Baby.
they're cool too.
Yeah,
I've seen them on Insta. Yeah.
Brent is the guitar player. He's part owner, I think, in Indie String Theory.
Okay.
Yeah, right around the corner from Square Cat, the music store. If you're looking for guitars and amps or need them fixed, go to Indie String Theory.
Cool.
Brent, he's in the band.
Gotcha.
So really solid indie band. So
It's like you see all the same names on Instagram, and you see these guys opening for these guys, or like a four bands in one gig. So it's pretty cool to see how tight the local scene is, but also like there's only so many bands out here getting gigs. So, but it's amazing how many gigs they also have too, because there's bands like gigging on a Tuesday or a Thursday till like 11 o'clock at night. So there's so many bands out there grinding.
Yeah. Well, like you said, Kayla, there's just a lot of good talent. There's a lot of talented players.
Really?
River Thief comes to mind. They're really good musicians. So they've got some material out. So check them out. So, so what's the future hold? You got the gig on May 31st, and then you're back there again when?
June 21st.
June 21st.
Yeah. And we're trying to plug it as much as possible on the Instagram. So if anyone sees us on there, it'll definitely be some notifications.
Yeah.
But I think we really want to get down to Louisville and IU Bloomington. There's this really cool band called Morning Star. And I'm a really big fan of Mazzy Star and My Bloody Valentine and just a lot of noise rock stuff. So they're really cool. We're hoping to share a bill with them in either Bloomington or Indy, and then go to Louisville too, because there's just so many bands out there. But I think the whole point, my whole goal is just to travel. I love going camping. So if anyone wants to just like pitch a tent and travel and get a gig and then come back, we can do it one weekend. So and just like we could see Chicago and just camp out at the park, So there's so many cities we could kind of do that with.
Yeah.
What anticipated timing of your cassette being out?
I think we'll have 10 ready for the May 31st gig.
Okay.
And then hopefully another 10 or 20 for the next gig.
Okay.
And just be selling them like that until I can afford a crick cut, and then we'll increase volume. But I wanted to do like your own homemade pressed shirts and everything. And it's like, I need $500 first, and then we'll go from there.
That's what I've got, a Northern Kentucky Derby shirt, and that's what they did. They made their own shirts.
Yeah.
Stamped it, and
So it seems like you got to go that way, or else you're asking someone to buy like a $50 shirt of a local band that you just heard of.
Yeah.
So if we can sell a $20 shirt that's really stripped down, I think we'll be okay. And I think the goal is just to make enough gas money and food money to get there and come back. So kind of starting off small on expectations.
Okay. So for now, you got the 2 gigs lined up and looking to book more then.
Yeah. Definitely contacting other bands through Instagram. I think that's always helpful in like booking a show, being able to go to the venue directly, like in person, and say, hey, me and 2 other bands want to play here on this date, and we're going to book it that way, because I think over email, you're easily ignored.
Oh, yeah.
So definitely recommend to everyone, like, just get into a venue's face. Like, who does the booking? I play in a band. Like, just don't even be shy about it. Just push through. Because I think it will work out either way.
Yeah.
But I think we need to book some gigs and travel, and then record a little bit too. My goal for this year is to like record a couple bands as well, down in Franklin. and just do some like cheap studio time for people to kind of fill the seats, fill the space, and then kind of see what we get out of that, and then add them to the build, get gigs with those people. So I think it's all about who you know, not
Oh,
necessarily.
yeah.
You don't have to really be good to go gigging and
Yeah,
stuff. So
yeah.
I think we're good enough to go do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. Yeah. I mean, obviously you got to bring talent, but I don't think you've got to just knock it out of the park. I think people they're looking to be entertained, and if you can write some good groove tunes and, get them shaking their heads, that's, create a good vibe,
Yeah.
3 chords can go a long way.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's drinking. They forget about it after a couple minutes. Like, oh, I like that.
Yeah. Right.
Need to hear it on a loop. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So, just in wrapping up, what, as far as Instagram, other avenues to connect, or what's a good way to
far,
follow you?
just Instagram. Yeah. I think we need to get to the TikTok and Facebook. But
Yeah.
it's like Reels keeps us busy enough. And
Yeah.
I think we're definitely not like the TikTok generation. We're more of like if it was the 90s and we could make an MTV video.
Oh yeah, that'd be
We
so
would crush
sick.
it.
Oh, we'd be so good. Yeah.
Have you put anything up on YouTube?
Yeah, there's one music video
Mhm.
of like a live music video we did, and I do my like video editing with that.
Okay.
That was like based on I went to Arizona and had a really good trip with my family, and came back. So did a lot of videography out in Arizona, and kind of like took that back with me into our video of bygones.
I think I watched that. That's why it came to mind, but I need to go back and revisit that. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, and then I think there's a live video up there as well. So if anyone's really interested in just hearing
Is
the whole
it under
catalog.
Late to Everything?
Yeah.
Okay. That's so
Yep.
if you search Late to Everything on YouTube, you should be able to find it.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think there's a link in our profile
Okay.
that goes to like a whole link tree in
Yes.
one of those.
That's how I found the
Yeah.
SoundCloud. Or I ended up on SoundCloud. I don't forget what I clicked, but I was on SoundCloud. It ended
Yeah.
up on SoundCloud. So I was like, all right. Yeah, so I was checking out your music before we sat down.
Thank
so,
you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
of course. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, very good. Interested in playing a song?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. We'll hit the pause button and get you set up, and we'll do a song, man.
Cool, man. Thanks for having us.
Oh yeah, for sure.
you.
Thank you. We're going. All right.
Thank you for having us on the
Yeah.
Darren Miller podcast.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for being here.
This is a cover by Chris Cornell called Can't Change Me. She can do anything at all, have anything she pleases. Power to change what she thinks is wrong. What does she want with me? Yeah. Please, just 1 minute more. I can see that she's trying to free me. Suddenly I know she's going to change the world. She's going to change the world. She's going to change the world. But she can't change me. No, she can't change me. She has the daylight at her command. She gives the night its dreams, yeah. She can uncover your darkest fears, make you forget you feel them. Please, just 1 minute more. I can see that she's tried to lead me. Suddenly I know she's going to change the world. She's going to change the world. She's going to change the world. But she can't change me. No, she can't change me.
Nice. Nice.
Thank you.
I love it. Good job, guys.
I think we'll do this next song is an original, not yet recorded, called Million Miles. Actually, I think the first song is like a breakup song. This is more of like a together song. So I think kind of go hand in hand. Yeah.
Full circle, yeah. We got them all covered.
It's not the way you move your eyes. It's in the way you smooth your eyes. Drives me. I would drive a million miles just to get you by. I would fight a million times just to get things right. Redefine the meaning, what you and I. All the while drives me wild. It's in the way you move your eyes. It's not the way you smooth your thighs. Makes me want to die. I would drive a million miles just to get you high. I would fight a million times just to get things right. Redefine the meaning, what you and I. Wow, drives me wild. It's not the way you move your